Hey everybody, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be looking at this MacBook Pro. This is the A1706 and I believe it's a 2016 model, and it's been sent in to me for repair because I believe it's got no power. So I'm pretty sure that the customer mentioned something about this being sent to Apple or having a quote from Apple, and they wanted to do a board swap, or it went to another company and they wanted to do a board swap or something, and they basically wouldn't even look at the device. I could be wrong on this, I'm not 100% sure on this one, but I do record a conversation with the customer about a MacBook Pro with that situation. I just don't know if it's this one or not. But basically, the issue with this is that it doesn't turn on, and the customer's tried a new battery. I think they've changed the battery on this. I know 100% that the battery's been changed, because it does say that on the booking form for this one. But obviously, that didn't resolve it because, well, this is a MacBook, and, well, yeah, there you go. They die for no reason. But what I can see here is we've got 5 volts input, and we've got 160 milliamps of current. Now 5 volts input is normally going to be indicative of a bad charging controller, so hopefully we can figure this out, get this working, and obviously be able to access the customer's data, etc. But we'll see what the deal is. But if you're new to the channel, my name's Hakko, I'm an electronics technician. I mainly work on games consoles, but I do work on other stuff as well. So if that's the sort of stuff you're into, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications, and that way you don't miss any future videos. And if you do want to organise a repair on a laptop, MacBook, or games console, or anything else, get in touch at www.thecoding.repair. All the links will be in the video description, as well as links to the tools and stuff that I use. Just a disclaimer, I do get a little bit of commission if you use the links that are in the video description to buy stuff from, for example, AliExpress and stuff like that. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this repair. Today's video is sponsored by PCBWay. Whether you've got a simple project that requires a quick mod board, or you want to launch your own products to the world, PCBWay can help. With fantastic pricing on multi-layer PCBs, flex ribbons, 3D printing, and even laser cutting solutions, you're sure to find everything you'll need all in one place. Custom PCBs start from just $5 for a 1 to 2 layer board, with a fast 24-hour build time and free shipping on orders over $30. PCBWay also offer aluminium PCBs starting at just $120 per square meter. Check out what PCBWay have to offer by clicking on the top link in the video description or in the top pinned comment and get your project started today. Thanks again to PCBWay for sponsoring the channel. Now let's get back to the video. I'm going to start off by just taking the base off this. And this is a 4-port version, which means there's going to be 4 charging controllers on this. And the problem with that is if one fails, they all fail. And obviously that's an issue. They don't actually physically fail, it just stops them working, which is really, really annoying, because it means that if one charging port dies or one charging port chip dies, you can't charge a laptop at all. So yeah, there is that. Always nice, isn't it? So I'm gonna try and get this thing apart. I hate taking these apart because you have to, well, you have to try and get the base off, but it's not that easy. So you have to lift it up like that. You're supposed to use a pry tool, but I never do. But you're supposed to lift it up like that and then pull it or push it forward, right? So you've got the hinges here. You're supposed to push it forward like that to get it off. I've seen so many people try in the past to, you know, just pull it up and stuff, and it ends up damaging the clips and damaging the actual case itself. It's really, really annoying, but never mind. But you just slide it like that and it comes off. It's nice and easy. Sometimes it cracks your fingers, but never mind. Okay, so I'm going to take a look under the microscope while the board's still in. But first of all, what I want to do is just remove the battery. And why did that feel like it wasn't in? Yeah, it did feel like that wasn't in. So let me just double check the charging. So this is like a sense wire for the battery, and it needs that to be able to charge it, but no, it's not. It's still 5 volts, 160 milliamps on the ammeter, which is not normal. It's supposed to take 20 volts. It did say on the listing that the customer was going to include a new battery. I don't think this is the new battery, to be honest. I think this is the old one. Sorry, not including the new battery, include the old one because they'd changed it. But I don't know. It's not in the box anyway, so yeah, it is what it is. It doesn't really matter too much, I suppose. But yeah, what I want to do first is just remove the battery completely, because I want to see what the board is taking on its own without the battery plugged in. So just remove that screw, make sure that ribbon's disconnected, and then I can attempt to charge it again and just see if it changes. Nope, it doesn't. We've got a steady 160 milliamps there, so that means that there's very likely going to be a short on one of the power rails. More likely than not, it's going to be a short on one of these charging controllers. So you've got the one there, and then there's two on the other side. But it's more likely going to be a short on one of these, right? The reason that I'm saying that is because 160 milliamps, number one, it's not enough to charge a battery anyway. Number two, the battery's not plugged in. And the main thing is that this is steady. Current is never steady. It's never a consistent current. So you're never going to get, for example, if you're charging a battery, you're never going to get, for example, a solid 2 amps. It's going to be fluctuating up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's going to be adjusting based on temperatures and how much power is inside in the battery, stuff like that. So yeah, we've obviously got an issue somewhere, but I'm going to take a look on under the microscope and just see if I can see any signs of, for example, a blown component around the charging controllers and stuff like that before I take the board out, and I'll just take it from there. So here's one of the CD3215s. These are the charging controllers, and oh lovely, this is one of the versions with underfill on the chip, so this is going to be a pain in the backside to actually repair if it is that. There's no sign of a blown component around there. So I'm going to just move the board around. I'm not sliding this board on this housing on top of the desk or anything, so I'm not risking scratching it and stuff. I'm just going to look for any signs of any damaged component, and well, basically just if I see any, I can replace them. I think that's normal. So that's a capacitor. I don't know what line that's for. I don't know the components off the top of my head, you know, the voltage rails and stuff on these. I'd have to use a schematic, but I am lifting this up. I'm not actually sliding it or anything, so don't worry, I'm not scratching the laptop up. So I'm moving it with my hands. And now I'm moving the microscope because I can't move it any further. Okay, so these ones, they seem okay. Let's get rid of that liquid damage indicator. Yeah, so I can't see any signs of burn marks. So sometimes what happens is when you plug in a bad charger, and this is something that I actually mentioned to the customer, it'll blow one of these chips and you'll actually see a physical hole in it. But apparently another device died with the same charger, so I've recommended to the customer that they replace their charger as soon as possible. But basically, if you get, for example, a third-party charger, that can cause the charging controllers to blow because there's no protection on them, and they end up sending too much power to it. So, yep, that one looks fine. So I think, because I can't see any physical damage on this side of the board, I'm going to have to take it out and continue the diagnostics from there. Okay, so I've got the board out of here. What I am going to do is just unscrew one of these charge ports, and the reason for that is because I want to be able to check charging and stuff like that while I'm actually working on it. So for example, if I change a chip, I don't want to have to put it back inside the housing just to see if it picks up 20 volts. So I'm going to take this charge port here, and also that allows me to inspect this specific charge port as well, and it's a little bit dirty, but it does seem okay. I don't see any burn marks on it and stuff like that, so that's fine. But yeah, it just allows me to basically test it outside of the housing without the LCD. So I'll just pop that on there, and then I'm going to move the housing to one side, because we should get 20 volts on it whether or not we've got the battery and LCD connected. But now that it is disconnected, I'm going to plug the charger port in and just see if anything changes. It does. We actually get 300 milliamps of current now. That might be enough to use the thermal cam, but I am going to just give a visual inspection and see if we can do it without, because, well, where's the fun in just using the thermal camera in every video? So I'll just give it a visual inspection. That's another one of the CD3215s. Why does it look like some of these caps are bad? Well, they're probably not, but they don't look great. Never mind. So I'm just going to scan around. So like I said, I'm looking for burnt components, I'm looking for liquid damage, anything like that. Not saying it is liquid damage, but it could be, even if the customer doesn't know about it. No, not seeing anything, so I'm not seeing any visual signs. Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. There's some liquid damage right there. Yep, there's a little bit of liquid damage, and this isn't necessarily down to actual liquid damage as well. So we've got some green gunk here, right? You can see that there. And this isn't necessarily down to actual liquid damage. It could just literally be from being in a humid environment. And all sorts of gunk on there. Never mind. Okay, I'm just going to lift up this shield quickly. I believe this might be SSD. I don't know. I mean, it's underfilled, so we shouldn't have any liquid damage under there anyway. That's fine. I'll stick that back down. Slightly damaged now, but I wanted to look under there just because we've got a little bit of liquid damage right here. Okay, I think it's going to be a case of looking for hot spots on the thermal cam then. Okay, so here's my thermal camera plugged in, and I'm seeing a few heat spots here. So ignore this one down here. This is just a reflection. But I am seeing a few heat spots. So the first heat spot I'm seeing is on the CD3215 right here. And then I'm also seeing some heat spots just here. So we've got some sort of an issue around this area here, maybe. Let's just have a look on the other side, see if there's any more. Some residual heat coming through from the CD32s. Okay, that is odd. So we've got heat coming from this CD3215. That one is fairly warm, actually. And it's not plugged in this side. So we shouldn't see any heat on that one. It shouldn't really be active, I don't think. So that one's not hot. That's just residual heat coming through. This one is, which is pretty much normal because, well, oops, I've just unplugged it. So that's pretty much normal because that's the charging. That's the port that we're using, right? So I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's switch this over to this side. Let's just have a look. Okay, so on this side, I'm not getting anything on the charger. You can't see that. It's just off cam. Because, well, I'm using my extension lead for the audio, but that's not activating the charger, right? How about this one here? That one's activating the charger, but we're getting 0.3 amps. So if I swap it, so this port here appears to be dead. That's what seems to be happening here. And if I plug this in again, so we've got some issues here. We've got some heat here. I don't know if that's normal or not. But we've got a heat spot coming from this transistor just here. So there's a transistor just here. You obviously can't see it. It's too small. But yeah, we've also got heat coming from this area on this side. And it looks to be coming from the other side. So, I mean, these ones are sort of turning on, but the most prominent heat appears to be coming from this chip here. Okay, so this is a tough one because this is the side that's liquid damage here. So, We've got some very obvious signs of heat there, right? If we just scan around, I believe that's going to be, yeah, pretty much the only side, the only part that's getting prominently warm. So this is the liquid damage side. If we just flick it around, yeah, we can see we've got some signs of heat there, but that doesn't look like it's prominent enough to be coming from that side. It looks to me like it's coming from the other side of the chip. Yeah, it's got to be, yeah, absolutely. But then we also had some signs of heat around here. So the signs of heat around here, I believe is pointing to that component there. Yeah, okay. This is going to be very, very difficult even just to remove. But I'm going to try my best. I'm going to unplug the charger. Just get rid of that. And I'm going to put this on its side so as I can access it a little bit easier. I am going to clean this up first and just see how this cleans up. Because we have obviously got some signs of corrosion around here. So I think there has been a little bit of liquid damage here. So I'm just cleaning this up with isopropyl alcohol. Okay, there we go. So that's just getting rid of the corrosion. Just gets rid of the corrosion in that area. It's only a little bit, so I don't think the board will need ultrasonic cleaning. Assuming there's no more corrosion that we've missed, but I don't think there is. I would obviously fully inspect the laptop before I sent it back, but let's just have a look. So if we go into continuity mode here on the multimeter, let's just test this fuse here. That fuse is good. It's not short to ground though. However, this cap here is. That cap there is short to ground, and as far as I'm aware, I don't believe it should be. Let's have a look at the cap on this side. That is not short. So I believe it is going to be that CD3215 on the other side, because this side though, that cap isn't short. We can check and have a look at these ones. Have we got, yeah, that's the same layout as the other one. That's just that adhesive I was scraping off earlier. Oh, hang on, that's short on there as well. It could be normal, but the signs are pointing towards that. And given that it's only drawing 5 volts at 0.3 amps, that is usually indicative of a bad CD3215. So I'm just trying to get this in a more comfortable spot. I'm going to try and remove this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a nozzle on. I'm going to use my angled nozzle, and I'm just going to preheat this. So I'm just going to put my hot air to 200 degrees Celsius. It's not going to be enough to melt the solder. Well, I'm just going to preheat this because this is underfilled, and I want to try and clean up the underfill. I'm going to have to do this very, very awkwardly and use both hands, I think. So because I'm left-handed, my left hand is my most steady hand, so I'm going to use my right hand for the hot air, because that doesn't need to be super accurate. I'm just trying to cut into the underfill without damaging any traces, of course. These 2016 models are really awkward because they're underfilled, and it just makes it really, really difficult to work with. As you can see, very, very tightly packed. So I'm going to increase my hot air now. I'm at 390. The one thing I don't want to do is obviously float this SSD chip, which is why I'm using an angled nozzle. Okay. Now I'm going to have to try my best to clean this up. Right, so I've just tinned the pads as best I can. I'm going to have to clean it up and then do it again. Because the problem is when you tin the pads as well is the underfill burns away and stuff and it gets all over the iron and yeah, it's just horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It takes a while. It's just about having a little bit of patience. Okay, so what I'll start doing now is just scraping with the solder braid, and that should help me to clean it up. I use a little bit of hot air because I've got to use a fine tip. Very, very difficult to get to this. I'll probably fast forward through some of this just to speed it up a little bit, but damn it, that was out of focus as well. Never mind. Sorry, I don't really look at the screen too often when I'm actually working on the console. My bad. Not the console, it's the laptop. Damn it. So obviously I've just got to try and do as best of a job as I can at cleaning this up, but this underfill is absolutely horrible to work with. I need to scrape it away, but I don't want to damage the pads. Alright, let's give that another clean up and see how it looks. Whoops. Oh, I suck at being a YouTuber. Right, let's just have a look how this looks now once I've cleaned it. It takes quite a bit of scraping, but the solder blade acts as an abrasive and helps to clean it up. Okay, I've got a couple of knocked components there, which I've just caused. So just there. Well, that's fine. I can just reflow those down. There we are. Just go over the middle bit with the wick once more. I think we're good there. Okie dokie. I've got here a CD3215. This is pre-balled, so I don't need to do any reboarding. But I'm going to just reinstall this. This is obviously ready to go. It's not the one that I took off. But I'm going to install this and we'll see if we get any change. I'll just add a little bit of flux here. There we are. That's that ready to go. Just flip it over. It's in the correct orientation. Or it will be. Just like that. And the good thing is, I mean, for as much as I hate it, the underfill around here kind of acts like kind of a guide of where to sit the chip. And it should sit nice and in line. So, yeah, that's one good thing, I suppose, about the underfill. It's probably the only good thing about the underfill, but never mind. So, I'm going to set my hot air up. I'm going to go for 420 degrees Celsius at 40% airflow. I'm just going to get some heat in the general area first. And then I'll just slowly come in and flow this down. I would say that's about done. I don't really want to tap it because there is obviously a ridge on the edge of this, and well, I don't want to knock it over the ridge and cause it to fly off with the hot air and stuff, so I'll just leave it as it is. I mean, all of these components around the edges were all flowed in, so the chip should be flowed in as well. We should be good to go there. So I'll reballed that in advance with 0.3mm solder balls. Obviously, usually I do, you know, do the reballs on video and stuff like that, but just to save time, you know, if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you'll have seen me reball chips and stuff, you'll see how I do it and things like that. So yeah, it's not really a difficult process, not when you're used to it. Alright, so once it's cooled down a little bit, let's just drop a bit of IPA on there. You can see there's still some heat in the board, but it's fine. I'm just going to give it a clean. So there we are, beautiful, perfect. Okay, and now I'm gonna give it a test. Okay, let's have a look. 0.26 amps. Okay, that's not. Oh, 20 volts. There we go. Okay, 0.81 amps. There we are. That appears to be attempting to boot to me. That's great news. Awesome. I'm going to get this back inside the housing and see if we get any kind of Apple logo. Alright, little heads up. Please don't forget to put these back on. They are, I mean, they're rubber seals, and yeah, they don't really do much in terms of liquid damage, you know, preventing liquid damage and stuff like that, but yeah, just put them back. Like, it takes seconds. Honestly, it gets really annoying seeing people not put those back. So it's just a little rubber grommet there, like a little rubber seal yeah, I wouldn't recommend leaving them out. Okay, so it's not screwed down. Nothing is, but I have got enough in there for testing. So let's just have a look. I'm going to just pop in the charger. That is 1 amp of current. That is charging a battery, 1.5 amps. Might take a little while to kick in, but I just heard a chime, and we should see an Apple logo. There we go, ladies and gents. That is what I am talking about. That is one working MacBook. So it turns out that the issue with this was just down to the CD3215. And obviously, a lot of the time we use schematics for these. And, you know, the schematics are available for them, but just based on experience and based on, you know, the MacBooks and stuff that I've worked on in the past, and the fact that the one charger wasn't actually working, I was able to deduce without the schematic that the issue was down to that one specific CD3215. Also, the fact that there was a little bit of liquid damage in that area, which means that the voltage has probably gone somewhere where voltage shouldn't have gone. So, for example, it might have sent 20 volts to a 3.3 volt line on the CD3215, and that's what caused the IC to blow. So, obviously, by replacing that chip, I mean, they're not expensive to buy, but they are difficult to replace, especially with the the underfill and stuff like that. Not all MacBooks are underfilled, but yeah, it's a relatively straightforward job if you know what you're doing. But obviously, you know, if you are not used to these and stuff like that, then obviously, you know, it can be a bit daunting and stuff. But that being said, this is repaired, and the customer, I'm sure, is going to be happy to get his data back, and also, you know, he can actually use the laptop again. So, with that being said, thank you very much for watching. If you do need this repair, you can get in touch with me on my website, www.thecoder.repair. If you need parts and supplies for MacBooks, laptops, and consoles as well, you can buy them on my online store, consolefix.shop, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, all of that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.